What a spectacular day to be alive. Morning everybody, welcome back to Mother's Druid on a sunny, I think it's a Monday. I go back to work tomorrow for 8 days, so I thought I'd better summarise some what we've been up to. So when we last met, it was Easter Sunday and I was going to report in on Easter Monday, and now it's a week later and I don't know where the week's gone. It's just been crazy. So we've got 2,100 trees in the ground. We ran out of irrigation fittings. I've got 500 trees still to go in. We blew up the John Deere. It is now dead and off to the tractor wreckers, hopefully. We found diesel in the sump of the Massey Ferguson loader. That's another video for another time. We finished patch 1 and 2 tree refresh. We finished planting patch 3. We've half planted patch 4. We spent 6 out of the last 10 nights sleeping out here trying to get it done. We started prepping patch 5, and 6 and 7, ready for after spring, after winter. We had 20 mil of rain Good Friday. Chico got hit by a car Friday night. He's okay. He's got tick dig scars. He's got a big scar on his head. 20 mil of rain on Good Friday. Had nothing since. I'm already starting to lose trees I planted down there a week ago. I hand watered 600 trees yesterday. I'm going to do it again today. I'm running 4 loads of water today. So through the course of the day, I'm going to try and give you a bit of a summary of what we've done in each spot, and hopefully you get a good feel for where we're at. It's been a huge, sorry, I'm watching tank fill up. It's been a huge 16 days off work. No, 20 days off work. Haven't quite got done what I was hoping to get done. Doesn't matter. Got some really good stuff on the go. I may even get some irrigation done this afternoon, but I also have to mow the lawns at home and get ready to go back to work, which I'm very, very unexcited about. So anyway, let's get on with it. Righto, so patch 1 and patch 2, we ended up putting nearly 300 replacement trees in. Now, that was way above what we were expecting, but we also did a final count and there's just over 1,000 trees between patch 1 and patch 2. I was budgeting a 20% survival rate, 20% fatality rate. So to have 30% is a bit disappointing, but these are the trees that are surviving. So they're going really well. At this point, I'm not going to replace any further trees in patch 1 or 2 that die over the next couple of years. We're just going to let them grow and see what happens. The ones down the bottom are currently, going gangbusters, and these ones will catch up. There's the John Deere. We'll talk about it later. So we spent 10 days camped out here. Found a little spot, ran the slasher through, had a fire, made some stuff, stored some stuff. I really need a shed. I don't have one yet. And these are the trees that we've got left to plant. So there are 480 and a handful viable trees in this pile. They'll get planted next break, hopefully all going well. We're still seeing, so for example, one of the things we saw a lot of, trees like this one here, we'll pull it out of the pot and it'll have no roots. It looks like this, but no roots at all. So we're probably overwatering them at this stage. So we're just going to watch that through the next round of cuttings, which starts today, actually. So 10 glorious days out here. No, 6 glorious days and nights camped out here. Fantastic, until someone started chainsawing in the bush over there at 9 o'clock on Friday night. So we'll go and have a look at the tractor next. So Easter Sunday, daughter was driving the John Deere and it started to belch. clouds of white smoke out of the breather pipe, which was here and out here, which tended to suggest that something was getting very, very warm. So we stopped it, left it, walked away. Came back 2 days ago, got it going, no worries at all. Started really well, and then more white smoke as I came down the hill, and then as I came down the hill through the creek, it started to slow down, speed up, slow down, speed up, lots of white smoke, and got it to here, which is in the shade of a nice tree, and it stopped, and it's sea solid. Still has water in the radiator, still has lots of oil, had fuel, I suspect, and I'm not going to pull it apart to find out, but I suspect it spun a bearing on the crank, either a main bearing or a piston bearing, and that's fine. The tractor is 60 something years old. It's been a pig, but I reached out to the wrecker to see if he wants it. If he does want it, great, he can have it. If he doesn't want it, I'm going to park it under a tree. Oh look, a tree. It won't stay here, but it'll go and rust quietly. So anyway, that's the tractor. Yeah, I'm disappointed. $900 tractor, $1,500 worth of parts, and lots of time and lots of YouTube and lots of frustrations. But that's what happens when you buy a $900 tractor. So anyway, thanks buddy. We'll get another one. I've got a Fiat at home, but I'm going to get another tractor. So, pardon me. Got to go and refill the water tanks now. We'll come back on the next trip and we'll talk about patch 3, I suspect. See you in a while. Righto, a couple of hours later, the lawn's at home and mowed, and we're here to talk about patch 3. So, irrigation for patch 3 went in really, really easily. Haven't buried this pipe very deep. I suspect that tank's going to move, but we'll see how we go. As part of patch 3 going in, we were also able to start prepping where the tank is going to go for the bore for the northern section. So I'll just walk up in here. So I started pushing the grass around and the rocks around, and also started ripping this top section up here, because at this stage I have to cut that in and then I'll fit 2 or 3 tanks here, and this point is higher than all the trees all the way through patch 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So gravity feed water from here down, and the bore's about where the car is. So that's a bit of a bonus, but until the Massey's fixed or at least serviced, can't do much in there. There are some fairly large rocks as well, so that's a backhoe job. We'll get it done. Patch 3 has gone very, very well. I still have to come along and bury the submain a bit more. I've done the bottom half, I haven't done the top half. Gets a bit tedious, but shovel and poke along. I did have something run through this water line, so it snapped the cable ties, so I've got to get a couple of cable ties and re-secure that. The trees in this one are going really, really well. That's probably not a great example because it wasn't real big to start with, but they're in and they're green and they're going very, very well. I still have a tree stump, or a couple of tree stumps. There's 1, 2, 3 to get rid of. I'll probably burn the big one out. I'll chop this one off at the ground and re-poison it. That one will probably get chopped off at the ground, and that one down there as well. Might chop it off at the ground. We'll see. We'll let the trees grow for a while first. But that's patch 3. Very, very happy. There's 400 and something or other trees in here in 21 rows. The bottom 3 rows silver dollar gums because they're too short for harvesting. So we'll end up with a screen between this patch and patch 4, and the yellow box gums we've got in the creek here down at the dam will provide a screen between patch 3 and patch 2, which is just how it ends up. We'll go see how this tank's going. We might walk past the Massey and talk about its life problems. So the irrigation for patch 4, we also talk about patch 4. The one on the left is for the bottom 7 rows, the one on the right will be for the top 9 rows. And that's because the bottom 7 rows are 100 metres long and then they get gradually shorter as they come up the hill. This one here only goes from here to there. It's about 20 metres. So I'm going to put silver dollar gums in this one, and this one, because then I don't have to try and get the harvester around them. And then juniper down the hill. I ran out of fittings, so we were able to get everything prepped. So the lines are run out. The sub-mains are here, but I ran out of the little plastic fittings. Ordered them last Tuesday out of Sydney. It's 400 kilometres. Here we are a week later and they still haven't arrived. That's how it works. She'll be right. They'll turn up and I'll do them next break. But running the sub-mains hard, running the small polys even harder. I've still got this row, or half of this row, and a big row to do down the bottom. One of the things that I'm having some issues with is because of the length of the line, it expands and contracts. So what we did is we ran the sub-main, we hooked the poly on, we turned it on, we marked each wet spot for the trees, and then we planted where the wet spot was. And the problem is that the line is expanding and contracting that much that, see if we can zoom in, they're okay, but they're not great. The line is expanding and contracting that much that it's actually moving off of the trees. So I hand watered these last night, and you can see they're already dry. But the earth down below is still damp, which is, it is what it is. They'll either grow or they won't. So there's 492 trees in this patch here in 7 rows. Planted them all myself. Quite rewarding but frustrating at the same time because they're now struggling to survive. But had a water line chewed down in row 2, fixed that. But the bottom half of row 4 is planted. The top half of the bottom half of patch 4 is planted, and we'll do the top half of patch 4 next break, which is only 8 short work days away. Anyway, back to the tractor. So as part of the Easter weekend, I also had a big cleanup. Moved all the implements up into one spot, and all the tractors are supposed to be here, but the John Deere's over there and dead, and the other 2 are up there from where we've been working on the next section. So this is the problem with the Massey. Pull the dipstick. That's not oil. That's diesel with very thin oil in it. So there is a theory, I know it's not a theory, there is a seal that goes in the pump that I'm still doing research on that needs replacing somewhere in there. The other problem is getting to the fuel tap to turn this on and off is up here. You see there it is there, so I'm going to turn that off. I'll turn that off and we'll change the oil in this tractor before it goes back to work. That's assuming it turns off. Let's assume that's off for now. The other job I need to do is re-secure the exhaust pipe, which is Resecure the exhaust pipe, which is down here and up here, and has become quite loose, and it gets quite loud and quite smelly. So we'll just check this tap again. Nope, still more. That's got it. So gonna have to replace the bolts on this and try and weld that back up in the paddock. Yay. Alright, so there you go. That's delightful. It's clearly leaking. So that's where we got to on the Easter weekend and the 7 days that followed. Apologies for not getting a video out this week. It's planting the trees by myself took 3 or 4 days, and just to tidy up and generally trying to get things done. Next week when we come back, we're going to finish this sub main off, and I'll walk you through that. We'll plug all the poly in, I'll show you what we do, and then I'll probably finish planting trees by myself again. So anyone who's floating around who wants to plant trees, keep Saturday week free, because there's the odd one or two. But until then, thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing. We're at 620 subscribers now, which is just huge. Can't say thank you enough, and stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Alright, nearly forgot. So that's patch 4, you can see down over there where the tree surrounds are, and 3 above that. The silver dollars are over here, going fantastic. Patch 5 is the 3 rows that run along the fence, and then 3 rows up in here on an angle. I'll talk about patch 5 because that's where I broke the hoe yesterday. This is patch 6 on the go, and I've started cutting the irrigation lines into it. So this is actually a tree row here, and that's where the irrigation line's going, and that's fine because I need a road. I'm actually going to put a road between that line of trees and that line of trees, so it's going to be about a tractor width wide. But the channel on the left is for patch 5, it's a single submain. The channel on the right is for patch 6, and it'll be a dual submain, so there'll be 6 rows at the bottom which go over the ridge and down to the gate, which is about there. You just see the gate. 6 rows on one IBC, 6 rows on the other IBC, and away we go. Patch 7, which we also started prepping, on the other side of the access road. Then patch 8's the one down the far end. Massive rock problem down there. So what happened yesterday is I finished hoeing this, and then I thought, oh, I'll just put the hoe into these 3, and somewhere around here, probably this bad boy, I hit a rock, the hoe bounced, and it separated the PTO shaft. Now normally it just falls apart, but because it's clearly happened at exactly the wrong moment, just for fun, the whole thing has torn itself to pieces, which is fine. I'd rather replace a PTO shaft than replace the hoe, so I'll just grab it. Come around to the light. So the outside, which is this bit, has separated from the inside, which is this bit, and actually torn the metal like paper. Now this has separated before once or twice, so I'm not surprised that it finally failed, but on my way back into town I'll go and buy a new outside and probably a new inside, 2 new, call them 75mm bolts, and we'll rebuild this and put it back on for next week. But it's yeah, it was a learning experience, but the hoe's going really well. The reason we're going to have 3 submains come up here around the corner, so this road's currently cut, so I can't drive into there. We have 3 IBCs up here as storage tanks, but I'm going to put a shed in this space. So that's been finalised, the shed's going here. I'll be able to use the runoff from the roof to feed the IBCs as a supplementary and then water these 3 patches. The other thing I can do is put the bore tanks up here. So the bore's across just the other side of the creek here. Pump the water across, put the bore tanks at the back, and that will feed patch 5, 6, 7, and I think 8. So that will be a huge outcome. And then we have got another plans for another patch sort of up behind here, and that might need a separate tank. So anyway, that's it. I'm going home. I'm going to have lunch, fill the water tanks up again, do another run, and then enjoy what's left of today, which isn't a lot. So see you later. Well, I'll see you in a week.